one of the reasons that the public is not buying gold, in fact, one of the reasons they're selling their gold, is because they're getting duped into doing it by the media that is pumping up the new Bitcoin ETFs. This has been a godsend for the foreign central banks because they've been able to buy all sorts of gold that they never could have got their hands on if the public wasn't being fooled into selling their gold to buy fool's gold, Bitcoin. And interestingly enough,
in the ring of finance, where gold and Bitcoin spar for supremacy, one man steps into the fray armed with truth. Peter Schiff, the man unraveling the media's grip on our financial decisions. In a world where headlines dictate actions, Schiff reveals a shocking truth. The public's rush into Bitcoin is fueled by media hype, leaving gold in the dust. Join us as we peel back the layers of deception, guided by Schiff's keen insights. In this showdown between tradition and innovation, discover why both gold and Bitcoin are hitting record highs amidst a storm of media manipulation. Brace yourself for a journey where clarity reigns supreme, and Schiff is your beacon of truth. So, let's listen to him again.
The new high today was 2,140 and change. Not sure the exact price, but we took out the old high, which was set in December of last year, which was about 2,135. Now, the largest gold ETF, GLD, actually hit a new record high last week because on that December night when gold traded 2135, it was outside of U.S. stock market trading hours. So the ETFs never got to trade that high. By the time the U.S. markets opened, gold had backed off. And so the ETFs made their new high last week. Now, what's unprecedented really about gold's new high is that there's no fanfare, there's no media coverage, there isn't even any retail participation. Not only is the public not buying into this rally, they've been selling during the entire rally. In fact, going into or looking at the ETFs, the gold ETFs, there's been net outflows of these ETFs every week this year. The public keeps on selling as gold keeps on rising. That's not normal. Normally, the people buy on the way up, they sell on the way down, right? That's wrong, but that's human emotion. When gold's going up, they get excited and they buy, and when it goes down, they get worried and they sell. Well, gold's been going up, and they're not buying. They are selling. Now, if everybody is selling, how can the price of gold be going up? Because if the price of gold is going up, it means somebody is buying to drive it up. And if the public is dumping their gold, why isn't the price falling? Well, because somebody else is buying. Somebody who knows a lot more than the people who are selling. Who is doing that buying? It's central banks. It's foreign central banks. They are the big buyers. That's one reason that silver is nowhere near an all-time record high. Silver is still below $24 an ounce, less than half of its record high, because the central banks aren't buying silver. They don't want to store silver. They buy gold. That is the monetary asset that they are loading up on. And if central banks are buying, there is a reason they are doing it. It's because they are de-dollarizing. They are reducing their holdings of U.S. dollars. Now, if you're going to get out of the dollar, by definition, you have to get into something else. And the something else they're getting into is gold. They're not replacing the dollar with the euro or the yen or the British pound or even the Swiss franc. They are replacing it with real money, with gold. Remember, when the dollar became the reserve currency, it didn't replace the pound, it replaced gold. Up until 1971, all reserve currencies had always been backed by real money, gold. And foreign central banks can read the writing on the wall because they're writing it on the wall. They know how many dollars they're going to be selling, and they're trying to get their hands on as much gold as they can. And the people, individual investors who are being duped into selling it by the mainstream media, are helping the central banks buy more gold for less money. In fact, if you look at what's going on, last week, Newmont Mining, the largest gold company in the world, shares of Newmont Mining last week hit a 5-year low. And there was a major brokerage firm that downgraded Newmont basically to a sell. I mean, they went from a buy to a hold, but on Wall Street, the way they spell sell is HOLD. So everybody knows, wink, wink, a hold means get the hell out of this stock. So they basically put a sell on Newmont, and they said the reason is we don't see any upside potential in gold. 2 days later, GLD hit an all-time record high, 2 days after a 5-year low in Newmont. And now, today, the following week, spot gold hits an all-time record high. Now, Newmont is already about 10% higher than it was last week when Wall Street said to get rid of it. But gold stocks are still way down. They were down 12.5%, I think, last week or something like that, while gold didn't go down at all. Why? Again, central banks aren't buying gold stocks. They're buying physical gold. So while the gold stocks were getting killed, gold was not. Gold is rising because that's what the central banks are buying. And if you want to know what you should do, don't take your investment advice from a bunch of mom and pops or young kids who are buying on their apps. Pay attention to the smart money running these foreign central banks who have all the data, and more importantly, they know what they're going to do. And the fact that they're buying gold now tells you what they are going to do in the future. And it's not good if you're in the U.S. or you're holders of U.S. dollars. Now, one of the reasons that the public is not buying gold, in fact, one of the reasons they're selling their gold, is because they're getting duped into doing it by the media that is pumping up the new Bitcoin ETFs. This has been a godsend for the foreign central banks because they've been able to buy all sorts of gold that they never could have got their hands on if the public wasn't being fooled into selling their gold to buy fool's gold, Bitcoin. And interestingly enough, both gold and Bitcoin made new all-time record highs today. Bitcoin got above 69,000 for the first time ever. It got to like 69,300, 400. I mean, depending on which exchange you look at. The difference between the new high in gold and the new high in Bitcoin is gold's new high stuck. Yes, gold didn't close at the high. It backed off a little bit and closed, I think, just below 2,130. Still up about $15 on the day. And the GLD ETF closed at a new closing high, and the close for spot gold was a new record closing high. So gold's new high was a breakout. Bitcoin's new high was a double top because within a few hours of trading above 69,000, Bitcoin was back at 59,000, a $10,000 drop in 3 to 4 hours. That's 14% move. All of the big Bitcoin ETFs also made new record highs this morning, and they closed down 8.5% on the day. And we got more idiotic news last night out of Michael Saylor. And yesterday, his stock MicroStrategy was up 20%. Well, today it dropped almost 20%, but dollar-wise, it was a bigger drop. And so gold, MicroStrategy's erased all of yesterday's rally because overnight, this modern-day Moby Dick, right? He's the Bitcoin whale, but he's actually Captain Ahab, and his whale is Bitcoin. And he announced that MicroStrategy is going to borrow another $600 million and buy more Bitcoin on leverage after it's gone way up. Well, at least MicroStrategy shareholders decided to abandon ship because Captain Ahab here is going to sink the MicroStrategy ship. It's going down as he chases Bitcoin. But this is a significant reversal. So basically, Bitcoin made a double top today. It wasn't a breakout like gold. But the main reason I'm even bringing up Bitcoin is because people are selling their gold and they're selling their gold stocks to buy the new Bitcoin ETFs.
Join us in our ongoing quest for truth and understanding as we continue to challenge conventional wisdom and decode the mysteries of the financial world. Don't just follow the headlines, question them. And remember, in the pursuit of financial success, informed decisions are your greatest asset. So, hoist your sails and set the course for enlightenment. Subscribe now, ring the notification bell, and embark on a journey where every video is a treasure trove of knowledge and insight. Thank you for being part of our adventure. Until next time, may your curiosity never wane, your thirst for knowledge never be quenched, and your financial journey be filled with success and prosperity.